Welcome to today's video, everyone, where we will be installing a big ass intercooler on the 335 with the N54 engine. This install will work for pretty much any N54, N55 3 Series. Today's video is actually sponsored by ARM Motorsports. Huge shout out to Ryan. He really hooked us up with this intercooler, this big 1K racing front mount kit. As far as I'm concerned, this is one of the biggest intercoolers you can get. So to go with the intercooler, we have some 3-inch piping, all the clamps and hardware necessary. So we're going to take you guys through the entire process of installing this intercooler. It's going to require quite a bit of cutting and trimming. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the front of the car jacked up on jack stands and remove the front bumper. And from there, we're going to try to stuff this baby in there. One more thing I want to add before we get this started. I just opened up a merch store with some pretty rad designs. Dropped the first collection out there. If you guys want to support the channel for when this motor blows up, because it's only a matter of time, you can always show your support by doing that. Just dropped the website though. For a limited time too, you can use the code GETSHAFTED for an additional 10% off your order. So once you pulled your front bumper off, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna remove this air duct, which is held in by two T20s. So once that's out of the way, you go ahead and unplug this connector. There's two tabs on each side. You just squeeze and yank it off. Oh, I'm gonna break something here. Yeah, so squeeze both of those, yank that off. This kind of clips into there. This coolant pipe pops out of your fan shroud. It's very fragile, so try not to break it. This one feels like it's about to break. This, you're just gonna kind of fold over the way. Try not to bend that coolant pipe because it is fragile and they are prone to breaking. So if you didn't destroy your fan shroud like I did, you'll have a clip down there with a rubber attachment to this charge pipe. I removed that because I was tired of yanking that on and off. It was a pain in the ass, and I just have one 10mm bolt held in on the shroud. So I'm gonna pull that 10mm bolt off in the top corner. I have to pull this clip up on my fan shroud and then pull up. So if I just lift up on that, we pull up. There you go. So now we're going to remove this T20 from your automatic tranny cooler if you have an automatic. This is a T25, sorry. And now we can go ahead and start to pull the radiator shroud up and out. So now, a little bit of finessing. It comes out. You just have to be a little aggressive. Like, oh, you know. Like, oh, guy, you know. Wow. Now, to remove this intercooler is very simple. There's two T25s on either side. I'll go ahead and just pull those off. Now we're going to pop both the charge pipes off. You're just going to lift up on these tabs with a pick or a screwdriver. You can pull them all the way off if you want.
Yeah, you just gotta lift them over.
Yeah, they gotta be lifted. Oh, jeez. There we go. We're getting rid of those anyways. Super simple again. This just pulls off. The intercooler is going to fall on my head or Liam's head at some point here. Oh. Okay. That's going to pull off. And now the intercooler should pop off eventually. Oh, there we go. That side's off. Work that side out, Liam.
Here, hold this.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. And just like that, the 335 intercooler is removed. Just for a quick side-by-side comparison now of these intercoolers. It's just really not comparable. I think if you look at the thickness, side to side, it's pretty nutty. This is definitely going to be interesting.
That's like
Additionally,
almost 2 times as high.
yeah, now I'll be able to run stage 2 plus on MHD, so if something's gonna blow up, it's gonna blow up now. Before you start hacking this up, just so you know, you're gonna wanna pull this guy off here. This is your ambient air temp sensor. To remove this ambient air temp sensor, if you just push up on it and wiggle it, it'll pop out. And then you're just gonna wanna zip tie this guy somewhere so it's not gonna flop around. So I've got a good amount of cutting done there. Up there you can see it's pretty nice. I'll clean that up, but for now I'm gonna actually remove this charge pipe coming off the turbos. And then I'm also gonna remove my stock charge pipe going to my 3-inch charge pipe, which by the way, you will need a 3-inch charge pipe to run this intercooler. I'm pulling off that coupler, and then we're gonna pull out that whole tube. As for this side, we're gonna have to use a Dremel or a grinder to get that band clamp. This guy right there, because that is a one-time clamp. And unfortunately, the only way to get this off is to cut it off, but that won't be too hard. Boys are working hard to get this pipe off. It's not an easy task. Requires a bunch of fumbling. Liam's really getting in there, getting personal with it.
There we go.
Oh, you got her off. You should probably put a bag over your charge pipe so that nothing gets in there. And that is what we are getting rid of. Going from a 2.5 to 3-inch, so this is going to be pretty cool. Some nice little bits of oil in there. That's actually not that bad. So now what we're going to do is I'm very carefully going to use my little Dremel bit to cut through this small clamp. I don't think it'll be too hard. We'll just whiz right through that. Theoretically, the hose should be free. We'll just pop this clamp off, and I think we'll just cut the hose.
You need to pull a person.
Ah, she's off. So now what we're gonna do is Liam went ahead and assembled, double nutted these studs. And these are an 11 mil, and now we're gonna screw these up into the stock location of where the T25s were. And these are gonna be mounting studs for your intercooler. I'm gonna thread this into here. And this is gonna be our new new mounting point. So I'm gonna go ahead and just snug this up until the screw threads end. I just threaded that in just until they stopped on my nuts. You don't want to over tighten that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to the other side, and then we're gonna test fit the intercooler. I have a feeling we're also going to have to cut this entire top section of the shroud out here because the intercooler goes kind of tucked behind the crash bar there. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut here down here out, cut this little piece off. I'm gonna do the same thing, cut straight back through here. So I've been doing a lot of cutting, and I ended up taking off the ducts, the one that goes to the oil cooler over there, held in by a bunch of 8 mils, one here, 3 behind the oil cooler, and then there's just one holding that one on and just pops out. After grinding all that up there, I found out I just did that for no reason. And we kind of mangled and broke this arrow piece. Could you pull that over? And now what we're actually going to do is we're just going to cut right here at an angle. We'll cut the middle section right here. And then we're also going to cut this side because we actually need this. Basically, the top of the intercooler is going to sit right here, so we need that room. We did a lot of cutting. Ended up kind of just snapping the front air grill here in 2 pieces. So basically, we cut the grill off here, here, there, and then cut it clean off at this cross member, and clean off at that cross member. We're just gonna grease up all this intercooler piping and really try to slam her in there. We're using the 90° at the top, and then the metal pipe going to the 45°. We got the intercooler in. It's not in 100%. First of all, the kit only came with 5 clamps and we needed 6. So we had to run out and grab another clamp. And yeah, basically here's where we're at. So that side obviously is fine, connects good. This side, on the other hand, fits, but the pipe is like rubbing against the serpentine belt. So you can see there it's actually touching it. So yeah, we're gonna have to push this down as far as we can. We might have to cut this metal pipe at an angle so we can actually bring it closer this way to everything. This is the 45-degree coupler that goes into the intercooler at the bottom. I've actually cut this for some room. And now additionally, we're going to be cutting this. This goes down like that, right there. And this connects to the outlet pipe of the intercooler. So we're gonna cut that approximately at the angle of our white pen there in hopes that we can angle this back a little more and just get a little further away from the belt. So another update. This is definitely a nightmare. Picked up a longer 90-degree 3-inch coupler. So I've got more length. We just about got it on. We just needed a little more length for my charge pipe. So I'm gonna cut this side a little shorter for going down there, and this side will hook up. So you guys, the intercooler is in, it is mounted, and it is working. I'm gonna go over a few things I had to do. Obviously, you saw we picked up that coupler. That was definitely the play. We got that hooked up. I also had to loosen off my charge pipe, make some adjustments, turn my blow-off valve around. As you can see, I have an automatic. So I guess regardless, you're gonna have a fan shroud here. The fitment was very tight, even the clamp, really tight. Really had to use a lot of grease. Also trimmed the bottom of this 90, cut about an inch off it. For that steel pipe on the driver's side, this is approximately how much I ended up having to cut off it just to get things to line up. And for reference, no joke, I probably have about as much room as that nut from my charge pipe to the fan belt. So clearance is definitely limited. Over on this side, I didn't have too much of a problem. One thing I was worried about was if the tranny cooler was going to be able to mount up, and it appears it fits, so that's exciting. The fan shroud also fits. I thought maybe I'd have to modify that. I didn't. You can see the position of my hose clamps there. Really tight up there. I can actually see that my belt has been touching the silicone coupler slightly. You guys can see up there. You can see how close. I guess really the silicone's the only thing that's close, so the metal is a small ways away, as you can kind of see there. We're working with very minimal clearance, so that is honestly my one worry. I think, I guess I could try loosening off the intercooler and maybe pushing it forward is probably what I'm actually going to try to do. I'll loosen these nuts off and try to pull it forward. One thing I do want to add, we went to go test drive the car, and I left the fan shroud out and just kind of tied the fan connector away, and really started worrying because I thought there was something wrong with the car, because the car had like no power, basically in like limp mode, no check engine light or nothing. And it turns out it was because I guess the car does not like it when the fan is unplugged. So yeah, I guess so. And I'm gonna start putting the car back together. I'm gonna throw in the brake ducts and the front bumper and go rip this thing. Once again, I'll say huge shout out to Ryan and Arm Motorsports and them helping me out. That was super awesome. I really appreciate that. I'll insert some clips here of me ripping the shit out of this. Stay tuned for next video where we will tune this thing, Stage 2 Plus, spin the tires off and see if we can blow it up. So until then, stay tuned.